What's up guys, welcome back for another DevPro Duel video. Pendulum Scraps, the hype around this deck is huge. So let's see if they are actually that overpowered. This is my current deck list. I've made a lot of changes since when I started playing the deck for the first time. I'll do a full deck review of the card choices and the ratios at the end of the video, after the duels. This way you can see why I made certain choices. Okay, game number 1. The opponent, I think, is playing Lightsworns with Pendulums. Pretty decent, as you see. As you'll see later in the duel, why they can go well together. Looking at my opening hand, it's not that great. I attack his Eclipse, he banishes his Pendulum Dragon, so that's a nice add-on, a nice thing you can do. You can banish your Pendulum Dragon with Eclipse, and yeah, my opening hand. So I activate Supply Unit. Supply Unit is very good in Scraps. So he doesn't do anything. I set up my both my Pendulum Magicians, so I go for a Pendulum Summon my Pendulum Dragon, and eventually also Synchro Summon for Scrap Twin, and destroy my own Pendulum Dragon, so it gets sent back to my extra deck. I can continue the pressure, thanks to Supply Unit. I can draw every time when it's of course once per turn, but when a monster on my side of the field is destroyed by battle or by a card effect, I can draw one card. So it's only once per turn. So I again use this effect and then use my Pendulum Summon again to special summon the Goblin and again the Dragon to the field. So a small loop with the Dragon, and I eventually attack for a game. Okay, so next, I don't know what deck my opponent is playing, but look at my opening hand. I open with not 1, not 2, but 3 Supply Units, and you'll see why Supply Unit is so good in this deck. So I already get 3 draws off, so they already paid off, and the extra draws now I can get now from Supply Unit are pretty much pluses. So he attacks over my Orthrals. I again draw 3 cards, and then take a look at my opening hand. So I MST his face down back row, possible threat, activate Terraforming, and then set up my Pendulum Dragon and the Astromancy, then normal summon my Chimera and eventually go for Scrap Dragon and attack over his monster. And in main phase 2 I'm going to destroy my own Scrap Dragon and his Pendulum Dragon in his Pendulum Zone, so he cannot special summon high attack monsters, high level monsters during his turn. And because my Scrap Dragon was destroyed, I can get 3 draws off with the Supply Unit and the Field Spell. And yeah, not a smart move on his part. He attacks my Golem, my Goblin, and again get 3 draws off. I'm not going to search because Chronomancy, my Magician, can only be activated as a spell card, so it will be sent to the Pendulum Zone when I don't have any monsters on my field. So that's why I didn't activate my Field Spell. Because then I would have had a monster on my field. So now I would have been able to get a Pendulum Summon, special summon both my Golems, get their effects off, and go from there. Next, Mermills. Look at my hand, not that great. So activate my Field Spell, maybe a bit too early, maybe I should have kept it. And then also activate Supply Unit, maybe hoping to get some draws off when my monsters are destroyed. But yeah, he's going ham. Looking at this opening hand, he already discarded the Tidal, I believe, with Pike, I think. So eventually indeed goes for the OTK, and this is one of the bigger drawbacks from this deck, from Pendulum Scraps, is that you pretty much don't play any kind of back row protection, so some kind of OTK, because you don't play any kind of back row, you hardly have any protection. My opponent starts, he's not going to summon a Lightsworn, again a strange move, I don't know why I did that. So I'm going to set some kind of bluff, I believe the Scrap Storm, and activate my Pendulum Dragon to search out the Magician. Then activate Supply Unit, and pretty much the standard Scrap shenanigans with Supply Unit and the Field Spell. So with Supply Unit I can draw a new card. And with the Field Spell, special summon the Golem from my deck and get the Chimera back to my hand. Just in case he has Honest or Tragodia, first attack with the Scrap Beast, and he drops his Tragodia, again a bit too early. Attack over the Tragodia, and because of that, because he wasted his Tragodia like that, I was kinda expecting maybe a Blackluster or Chaos Sorcerer, him setting up Light and Dark. And now the shenanigans can begin. So I activate my Scrap Twin, bounce back his 2 monsters, and then set up my Pendulum monsters and go for a Pendulum Summon. Pretty much, yeah, special summon everything from my hand, and also the Pendulum Dragon, and go for Star Eater. And because I synchro summoned my my Pendulum Dragon will be sent back to the extra deck, ready to be special summoned next turn. And yeah, with that field, unless he has another Tragoya or Battle Fader, should be game over. Yeah, also Star Eater, just in case he did have a Tragoya with 3k defense. Next, my opponent has a very good start. T-King with Warning is a very nice opening opening field. But yeah, sadly for him, my opening hand is much better. So with the field spell, with supply unit, pretty much the same as last duel. Set up Scrap Twin eventually and set the MST. And here I was thinking, maybe I didn't need to set the MST, because this deck is very weak to Excite the Knight. Excite the Knight is, can easily disrupt your whole field, including both your Pendulum zones. So you get yeah, too much minus from that. Also was thinking not to MST in the end phase, just because of the possibility of Phoenix Chain. But yeah, I had the Scrapyard in hand to go for Orthros, and thanks to the field spell, yeah, eventually go for Golem and go from there. But yeah, the third MST didn't really yeah, made it obsolete. Next, Girgias. He sets up his armor, and again, looking at my opening hand, not that great. Hopefully, that's why I also normal summon my Chronomancy. I can stop this first armor, but not the second, as you'll see. So I normal summon my my Chronomancy, maybe hoping that my opponent attacks over it or destroys it with a card effect, so I can get a draw off with supply unit and maybe draw into more useful cards. So eventually, yeah, because I have the field spell, maybe, and also with the Scrapstorm set, like draw into Scrabbies, for example. But yeah, as you see, he activated Scrapstone, so he's going for the OTK. And yeah, as you saw, all my back rows are pretty much bluff. And I believe he's going to end with Bure Doll and a Stardust, and that's game over. So he attacks over my monster. I get the draw off because of supply unit, but draw into a Terraforming. So again, yeah, the opening hand not that great. Okay, next, my opponent is playing Bujins. Again, he gets to start. He gets pretty decent. He opens very decent with Yamato and Mirror Force, immediately setting up his Turtle and the Craning hand. And look at my opening hand again. Not that good. So at this moment, I think I pretty much lost the game. Opening with Golem, 2 Magicians, the Scrap. Yeah, Scrap Chimera and Goblin. So Goblin can stall a bit for time. But I draw into Pendulum Dragon, so thanks to Pendulum Dragon, I can search out the other Magician in the end phase, so I can maybe come back in the duel thanks to the Pendulum Summon. But I draw into another Golem, so I'm going to... I don't have any other options, so I random MST one of his cards, the first set card, hit the Mirror Force, then go for a Pendulum Summon, special summon both Golems, and because he has a Hair setup and the Crane in hand, I'm going to special summon my own Goblin to his side of the field in attack position. And my Pendulum Dragon has the nice effect that when it battles the opponent monster, any damage my opponent takes from his battle, it will be doubled. So that's 5k to the face, and with that I'm going to steal this win. So that's a pretty sweet duel right there. I never thought I would yeah, win that one, as you saw, because of the terrible opening hand. Okay, GG, off to the deck list. The monsters. Pendulum Dragon at 3 is a no-brainer. If you're playing a deck that relies on Pendulum Summon, Pendulum Dragon as your Sangan is stable. Then the normal Scrap Engine, 3 Chimera, 3 Beast, double Golem and double Goblin, which I prefer over just one, and yeah, of course, 1 Orthros. Nothing special there, I think. Now, both Pendulum Magicians. After test playing, I choose to play the ratio of 2-1, so 2 Chronomancy, the level 3 with a scale of 8, and 1 Astromancy, the level 5 with a scale of 1. Why this ratio and not just run both at 2 or at 1? First, Chronomancy is a level 3, so it can be normal summoned if you, for example, need a target for Scrap Dragon on the field. So it can serve as an extra monster and doesn't require a tribute like Astromancy. Second reason, and I think the more important one, is the Pendulum Summon itself. The ideal scenario is that you have both Magicians in your Pendulum zones, so that you can special summon all your monsters from level 2 to 7. But if we take a closer look at our deck, The only low-level scrap monsters I would special summon are goblins, both level 3, and beast, level 4. Now, setting up a pendulum summon is really hard. You have to be lucky and yeah, maybe open with Pendulum Dragon for example, and or the other magicians. It takes up a lot of time to set it up, and this time in today's metagame is very precious. Now, if you take a look at the higher level monsters like Golem, that one we never want to draw, because it's so useless in your hand. But thanks to the Pendulum Summon we can easily get it to the field, and this is where Pendulum Dragon also can take up the place of our level 5 Magician. Pendulum Dragon has a scale of 4, so combine it with our level 3 Magician, which has a scale of 8. I can still Pendulum Summon all my level 5, 6 or 7 monsters, so not the lower level ones, but yeah, to some extent that's a bit less important. Because of this, and the huge consistency issues this deck has, Pendulum Scraps has, I decided to only run one level 5 Magician and use the extra spot for something else. I think all the spells are clear. Obviously the 6 field spell cards, the 3 factories and the 3 terraforming are a no-brainer. But now let's take a look at Supply Unit. This card is the nuts in this deck, and also of course in a regular scrap deck. As you saw in the video, scraps easily get destroyed, either by their own card effect, by battle or whatever, and that nets you a draw, only once per turn. Supply Unit also attracts your opponent's MSTs to it, so that your field spell is more safe. The card is retarded, and it will definitely have an impact sooner or later in our metagame. Last, the traps. I saw people preferring no traps at all in their Pendulum Scrap build, but I'm definitely not liking that, because as said in the video, Excite the Knight shits, and excuse my language, on your setup, and it blows up your entire field, including your Pendulum setup field spell and so on. Not only Excite the Knight, but yeah, Arc Knight of course also. And yeah, of course today's metagame is a metagame with OTKs and huge boss monsters. And yeah, then I'm very happy with every protection I can have. So I definitely prefer playing this deck with traps. Now, as a conclusion, is it worth playing the new Pendulum monsters in scraps? At this moment, looking from the experience I've had with the deck, the huge consistency issues, yeah, sometimes the terrible opening hands and the heavy combo orientation, I think that at this moment a regular scrap deck with of course your field spell and supply unit is far more consistent and better. There are times where the Pendulum Summon saved me in a duel, but those moments were very, very rare compared to the moments that I opened complete dead, or eventually my setup got interrupted by the opponent. But nonetheless, the deck is very, very fun to play. Definitely give it a try. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Leakdom signing out. Peace.